Hey, welcome to 9394, a music podcast with me, Travis. I am so happy to have you with me here today. It's honestly an honor and a privilege to do every episode, and without listeners, what would I be doing it for? So, thanks. And also, the show requires guest hosts. Everybody that comes on the show is very kind, and people that come on over and over again, like Brandon Callahan has, they really help the show move along. So shout out to Brandon and everybody that makes repeat visits here on the show. I am grateful for your help. Brandon has been my metal professor in every visit that he's made to the show so far, talking about some of the biggest metal albums from the era, but that's not all. That's not all he's into. You know, he branches out, and he's got some love for some punk rock too. So we got to talk about an album that I hadn't listened to in a long time, but man, I was really into back in the day. Me and my brother both were really into Bad Religion. You can check out the episode that my brother and I did on Recipe for Hate way back like a year or so ago. And Brandon has come on to give his perspective about Bad Religion. Check out our conversation.
Hello?
Hello.
Good to see you, my friend.
Good to hear you, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm enjoying my Saturday, my day off.
Good. Well, are you ready to get into the episode?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm pumped. I've been listening to this album nonstop.
I've been listening to it a lot lately, too. I'm excited to talk about it with you. What album are we doing today, Brandon?
I am here to talk about 1994's Bad Religion, Stranger Than Fiction album.
Yeah. What a big one. What a good album. What a big album.
Major label debut for them.
No, I don't think so. I thought that...
Yes.
Oh, really?
Atlantic Records.
Yeah, I knew that it was on Atlantic. I guess I thought that Recipe for Hate was on Atlantic, too, but I guess not.
It got re-released.
It got re-released on Atlantic.
Yes.
So they released it on Epitaph, and it did so well that Atlantic was like, even though you've got your own record company, we want you to come to us and we'll throw gobs of money at you for it.
We want some of that. Give us some of that.
Yeah.
Said.
Okay, well, they got it. This is their best-selling album, so they were on to something. This was like the high point, I think, in a lot of ways, of at least the commercial aspect of their career in terms of, like, popularity.
I do have the charting available if you'd like to get to that now or later.
Well, we're on the subject. Let's fucking do it.
It debuted on the Billboard Top 200, number 87, sandwiched between 86, same as it ever was, House of Pain, and 88 was Greatest Hits, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
It's a good album. Okay, and did it rise much higher than that?
That's its highest point.
And this was their most commercially successful album.
And the number one album for that week was 2 by Boyz II Men, if you're interested.
Yeah, people forget just how huge Boyz II Men was at this time. They were bigger. They're like better selling band than the Beatles.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that in the top spot.
Yeah. So this was a big moment for them. And I guess a big moment for us. This is a big moment for you on this podcast because you are my metal professor. You are the guy that comes in and tells me all about the metal world at this time. But you're here to talk about a punk album, which I am well versed in. So it's interesting to me that you mixed it up. So I'm really curious how you got into this album.
Yes, I am Professor Metal, but I guess I have a minor in punk rock because
Sure.
I've been a punk fan. I was doing the math, and I've been listening to punk for only 3 years less than I was listening to metal.
Okay.
So I've been a punk fan for quite a long time.
Yeah, when I knew you back in the day, I mean, there was definitely a lot of punk albums and bands and stuff that we would have been listening together and shows together and stuff. So it's not like I don't associate with you with punk at all. It's just in recent visits on the show, we've talked a lot about metal. So I'm excited to get in the punk side of you.
Well, actually, I guess my journey begins when I was actually listening to punk and not aware of it
Mm,
because of the way this band was marketed at the time.
yeah.
This brings me back, us back to 94, 95. For me, when I got the albums, and I'm talking about Green Day and I'm talking about Dookie and Insomniac. Those albums were huge for me. I loved
Hmm.
those albums. And they were kind of marketed at the time as more alternative and grunge
Yeah.
than they were punk rock. But to me, they are a punk band. It's debatable among people if they are or whatever. We're not going to get into that.
Who? Bad Religion?
No, Green Day.
Oh, okay. Phew. Yeah. All right.
I know some people say Green Day is not a punk rock band, but
That's silliness. They obviously are a punk band, but or at least they were. I mean, they progressed a
yeah.
lot. But anyways, keep
But
going.
like I said, I was very much into those two albums,
Hmm.
Dookie and Insomniac, and listening to punk rock, not even knowing it. I was just thinking it was alternative grunge, which is what I was listening to at the time.
Yeah.
Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Sure.
you
I
know.
remember doing that with Social Distortion a few years because I'm a few years older than you. So I did a similar thing when I first started getting into punk. I was just like, what is this? Or like when I first heard Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, I'm like, I'd never heard of ska in my life. I just knew it was an alternative band.
Yeah. And that's kind of, a lot what I listened to, alternative grunge. And then, of course, summer of 96, I found Metallica, and it was metal from that point on for a long time. But there was like punk rock kind of lurking in the background the whole time, kind of like tempting me to like, yeah, come take a listen. And a couple of those temptations came from those metal bands I was listening to at the time. Metallica, they covered 3 Misfit songs throughout their career. Last Caress they did,
Hmm.
Green Hell, and Die My Darling.
Okay. Yeah, we talked last Caress when you were on talking shit bins and purds with me.
Yep. And I love those covers Metallica did of the Misfits. I knew they were the Misfits. They also did a couple of Discharge covers. I don't know if you've heard of Discharge.
That's the grossest name I can think of.
They're like a hardcore band that kind of towed the line between punk and thrash.
Okay.
And they covered a couple Discharge songs. So I was like, oh, Metallica's into punk. Okay. They were always wearing Misfit shirts on stage. Also, Slayer. When I was going to buy my first Slayer album, I bought the latest Slayer release at the time, which was called Undisputed Attitude. So I popped it in my CD player for my first listen of Slayer, and I was like, this sounds different. I like it, but this is very different. And I look at the liner notes, and I realize that Undisputed Attitude is a complete punk rock covers album.
Oh.
Slayer released a complete punk rock covers album featuring the Stooges, Verbal Abuse, DRI.
Okay. Well, fun. So you had a lot of influences early on coming at you from multiple directions about the punk rock.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember how you got into this album specifically?
Yeah. Specifically was ninth grade. I was in the back of the bus naturally.
Naturally, where the cool kids hung out.
Yeah, with my friend, one of my best friends to this day, David Kirschman.
Oh yeah, shout out to Dave. Love Dave.
We were listening to our portable CD players, and he goes, "What are you listening to?" And I'm listening to Stormtroopers of Death, Speak English or Die. And he goes, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "What are you listening to?" And he goes, "I'm listening to Bad Religion Suffer."
Nice.
I was like, "Well, I kind of heard of Bad Religion, from my friends and whatever in the lexicon." So we, switch headphone jacks or switch CDs, whatever we did. And I listened to Bad Religion Suffer, Bad Religion for the first time, and I was blown away. All my preconceived notions about punk were kind of just out the window. I was just like,
Mm.
this isn't sloppy.
No, tight.
This is extremely tight.
Yeah.
It's got riffs, like
Hmm.
memorable riffs. It's got harmony. It's got melody, yet it retains its grit.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm instantly into this. I look at him, he's just into Stormtroopers of Death. So he's like, let's switch CDs for 2 weeks. So I'm like, okay. So I just ingest Suffer for 2 weeks. It's time to give it back. I give him the CD back, and I'm like, I need more Bad Religion now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I need it now. It's the 90s. I can't go get it in my pocket.
Right.
The next best thing at the time was my sister's CD tower. Shout out Jennifer.
Hey Jennifer.
Yes, she had a CD tower that was unguarded because she was off at college.
Uh huh.
and I went to go rate it as I did many times before because I remember seeing a Bad Religion CD in her CD tower.
She would like them. That makes sense.
Yep, I run over to her room, I go to the CD tower, scan, I see Bad Religion, Stranger Than Fiction, right there.
Okay. There it is. Perfect.
Yep.
And so it was in the house, and so like it was basically yours now.
Yes, I commandeered the album, instantly put it in my CD player in my room, and I was just as blown away with Stranger Than Fiction album as I was with Suffer. Incomplete, just first track, just burst on. And when you hear something like a new album or whatever for the first time, you kind of relate it to something you already know. And I already knew Suffer, but Incomplete kind of gave me Motorhead vibes, surprisingly.
Oh, okay.
The chord structure and the bass tone and even his kind of gravelly delivery in that song is reminiscent of Ace of Spades. Same tempo, too.
It's a real barn burner of an album opener, too. It's an attention getter. It's an announcement. I really feel like this album and the one before it, Recipe for Hate, I feel like these two albums in particular showed that they were really progressing in their songwriting styles as a band. They were really kind of almost moving, not out of punk necessarily, but kind of trying to push the limits of punk and what they could do with it. There's a lot of experimentation on these two albums, and I think that Incomplete, it really just kind of like sets things off in an explosive way. Like, hey, check this shit out.
Yeah, this may be like our major label debut, but fuck you, we're back to punk rocking. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, we'll spread our wings. We'll try different things on this album, but like we're still going to come at you rough.
Yeah, it's not like Recipe and Generator were like experimental in any way. Like they were just.
I mean, Recipe has like some country influences in there.
Well, isn't there a harmonica on one of them?
I think so. I mean, like
so they're a bit experimental.
Yeah, I mean, experimental might be a stretch. It's not like they're getting
for Bad Religion,
for Bad Religion, right? They're not Sonic Youth. They're just, but they are doing some stuff here that's
less
like,
distortion. Sometimes tempos vary.
Tempo changes. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Just kind of like just not doing the same. Let's just do the same chorus of punk rock ooh-ahs, and I love all that stuff. I mean, my favorite album of theirs is Against the Grain, but
I love Against the Grain.
But I do feel like there's some stuff happening on these two albums that's like they're playing around a little bit more. By 1994, they've been around for quite some time. It seems like they're kind of feeling themselves in a good way, and they're like playing around with their styles. But let's get into the nitty gritty here. What's your favorite song in this album?
Well, I know it was a single, but I don't care. The track is amazing, and it's one of my favorite title tracks by the band. And Stranger Than Fiction, the song, I gotta go with it.
A feeble shock, keep violence back, and the children are hoping for a heart attack. Tonight the windows are watching, the streets are conspire, and the lamppost can't stop crying. If I could fly high above the world, would see much live us, spinning with stupidity. When I see him on a homicide, brothers suicide, and honey, active freeze who pick his hide and hide. The one is scratching at my door, my rolling papers got the scores, the human interest stories, and the obituary. Oh yeah, cockroach naps, rattling traps. How many devils can you fit upon a match? And curiosity killed the Kerouac cat. Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction.
not blame you in the slightest. That fucking song just rules. It's so catchy,
Yeah.
but it's not cheesy or light or soft. It's a great song.
That main riff will stick in your head all day. The chorus. I love the lyrical kind of literary themes that he's got going on.
I love the scales being played with, up and down. Yeah. You're right. The literary themes are fun, like bringing in Hemingway and Thoreau and all this kind of stuff.
When he says life is the crummiest book I ever read. And
Yeah.
kind of like, I don't know, it's a simple line, but the whole album it's almost a perfect album for me. I'm not going to lie.
It's one of your favorites?
Yes. It's definitely in my top 5, if not top 3 Bad Religion albums.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that it's one of my favorite songs from this album as well, Stranger Than Fiction, but I don't really remember it being a single. I know that it was, but I don't remember hearing it on the radio or like on MTV even. Like, I just don't really remember it, but I do know that they were experiencing some success in those mediums at this time, but I don't really remember it for some reason.
I saw it on Wikipedia that it was a single. I had no idea.
Okay, then maybe I'm not alone on that. I mean, sometimes singles, like, they might get released as singles, but doesn't mean they're getting played in Detroit, Michigan, where we live.
Exactly.
They might be big singles over in California or something, but they're just not on our radio stations because we're just not that cool. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
89X might have played it at some point, but that's the only station I could think of.
Right. 89X, who's come up on this show before, the Windsor station that we all grew up listening to in this area of southeastern Michigan. They may have played it, but I don't have any recollection of that either. But it is a really catchy song, and it's a really good song. So I'm glad you chose it because I wanted to highlight it, but it's not one that I picked for my favorite. So I'm glad we got to talk about it. But my favorite on this album, I'm almost like embarrassed, and I shouldn't be.
No.
No, I mean, of course,
don't be.
I'm not. But it was also a big single. It's considered one of their more popular songs, but it's also one of the songs that hardcore Bad Religion heads might hate. I love Infected. It's always been my favorite song of this album.
The verses on Infected are just so strong. Like, the way he delivers them is just so powerful. And I believe it was a single. Let me check.
Yeah, it was. Again, like Stranger Than Fiction, I don't remember really hearing it anywhere.
It was a third single.
I remember hearing it on the album and feeling like it was immediately the first song that stuck out to me when I was a kid. It was like the first one that I'm like, this song just blows me away. And I guess Brett Gurewitz, who wrote it, was kind of deliberately trying to write a grunge song or something kind of along those lines, like trying to slow down the tempo, trying to create something a little bit different. And I think it's really successful because this song, it feels like, to me, the pinnacle of this album. It's right in the middle. Yeah, like I said, this is one of the most successful albums of their career. But in a lot of ways, it doesn't feel like a Bad Religion song. It's so much slower in terms of tempo, and it's overall kind of like lofty, powerful grind that it's doing.
Yeah, it's tailor-made for the radio.
It kind of is, right? Like, it's a pop song, but it's a dark pop song, but it's a fucking pop song. But the lyrical content is what really throws me here because, there's a lot of Bad Religion albums that I tuned out on that I did not hear like the last 15 years or so. I kind of tuned out. So I don't know their whole repertoire, but I can say that, like, I can't think of another Bad Religion song that I'm familiar with that talks about relationships, like, at all. Like, it's, I mean, I know there's some, but there's not a lot of songs where they're just straight up talking about relationships. And this is a song about a toxic relationship, which that wasn't really a term that we threw around back then. But I understood what he was going for, this idea that you affect me, you infect me, like this idea that, like, being around you has this impact on me that is both addictive and destructive. Cool.
Yeah, like love is like a pain or a disease or something.
Yeah, which I'm super mopey, and that's the kind of stuff I was really getting into at that time anyways. An attitude that stuck with the rest of my life, to be honest.
Yeah, Bad Religion's not like one of those bands that, like, talks about relationships a lot. Like,
that's it. They're not guys that sing about girls and love.
No.
Relationships. It's just not something they usually do. But when they do, here, it works. And they blend in this weird kind of, like, well, Bad Religion, like this anti-religious vibe too towards the end. They start talking about, like, killing you on the altar and all that stuff. Like, of course, they're going to make it weird.
Shoehorns that in at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's a good one. So moving forward then, let's talk the things that maybe don't impress us the most about this album. Because for me, it's not my favorite Bad Religion album. This is when I kind of started to tune out. I had this album and I liked this album quite a bit. I had Gray Race and was like, okay, this is okay. And then No Substance came out, and I remember just being, like, straight up angry at that album. Like, I hated it. Because, you know, Mr. Brett left after this album.
Yeah.
They kind of were wandering in the wilderness for a few years, in my opinion, and not releasing some of their best stuff. So I really kind of tuned out. But what is your least favorite song on this album? I guess it's a long way of getting to what I'm trying to ask.
Well, listening to the album for the last month or so, I do have a least favorite, but then I saw online on Wikipedia that it's actually a bonus track, so I don't know if that counts.
No, we can use, I mean, if it's on the release as we would know it when we were kids.
It's on YouTube Music's version of it. It's the last song, Markovian Process.
Okay, so I'm a little confused by that song too, to be honest, because I don't really remember it from back in the day.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so you felt similarly. Yeah, I don't think it was, man. I don't think that News from the Front or Markovian Process were on.
Those say European and Brazilian bonus tracks for News from the Front and Markovian Process.
Yep. Okay, so I too am looking at Wikipedia right now. And yeah, okay, so these tracks are, like, on the Spotify, like, original unfettered version. But I guess that's why they weren't that familiar to me, because they weren't on the versions that we heard growing up. What we heard growing up ended with 21st Century Invisible Boy.
That's what I always thought. And then I was, well, I have two songs. So okay. I picked Markovian Process, and
which
I also
didn't impress me either, by the way.
Well, and I picked these two songs for the same reason. And part of a Bad Religion staple in a song for me is a big, catchy, memorable chorus.
Sure, yeah.
And it's
not in Markovian Process.
No, not in Markovian Process. The chorus comes, like, halfway through the song, and the song's only a minute and a half. So it's like,
right.
And then same with Marked. And it's just, the chorus is okay. That's just was the only reason. It's just the chorus is okay.
It's not a standout song on the album. It's not a bad song, but I hear you, man. It's like, it's one that I kind of forget about.
Exactly. And I saw it featured Jim Lindbergh from Pennywise, which I'm sorry, I love Pennywise too. Sorry, Jim, but
you can't hear him.
I didn't even know he was on there.
Yeah, I had no idea he was on there till looking at that just now. And I mean, I guess that means that he's, like, sliding right in there and fitting in a good way, kind of like how Eddie Vedder did on Struck a Nerve back on Recipe for Hate, which I don't know if that's what you want in a guest vocalist, but you don't want them to take over your song either. So I guess, you know, he kind of, like, knew his place. But yeah, Marked it's a fine song, but I hear you.
Yeah,
man.
It's okay.
It's just nothing to get too excited about on an album that is full of songs to get excited about.
Yeah, and like so many of these songs have massive choruses that just stick in your head and are just amazing. But yeah, those two for me, they're okay.
Yeah,
But
I
you
hear
know,
you.
whatever.
I'm going to say that my least favorite has always been my least favorite song on this album, and it's for the reasons we were just talking about, how Jim Lindberg fits into Mark. I don't think Tim Armstrong works on television, personally.
Okay. When you said how Jim kind of fit in, I was gonna mention television, but then you did it for me. But I actually love the song.
Do you?
I love how you instantly know who it is if you've heard one Rancid song in your life. It's like, oh yeah, there he is.
That's kind of the problem I think I have with it. That and the fact that, like, so Mr. Brett and Greg Graffin, I think that these two guys as lyricists, they're wordy. They're among the most wordy lyricists in punk rock, or maybe any genre I can think of. They find, lots of polysyllabic words and jam them all together. And Tim Armstrong
Kind of raps.
It's like he doesn't even know what to do with it. There's so much of it. It's not even like he raps. It's like he's fumbling over his words. It's like he can't keep up with what he's trying to do. He's like
slam poetry.
Yeah, and then television. I was just like, oh no, it's just not my favorite song on the album. It never has been. But I respect your appreciation.
Yeah, I see how the chorus could get repetitive.
Yeah. Again, I don't hate it. I like every song on this album. It's Bad Religion. I like Bad Religion, but it wasn't hard for me to pick my least favorite song on this album. Because, like, since I was a kid, I was like, that is just not a strong song in my opinion.
I love how Greg Graffin does the kind of choruses and then the kind of key shift, and then it goes to Tim Armstrong and the energy of the song kind of changed. I've always liked that, but
and now we're just like doing Wikipedia, the podcast, which I always hate when podcasts do that. But while I'm still in Wikipedia looking at this, we should mention that song Television, even though she's not featured in the song itself, is Jeanette Napolitano from Concrete Blonde is listed as a co-writer, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I saw that. I wasn't familiar with her work, but I looked it up and pretty impressive.
Yeah, she popped in for guest vocals on Recipe for Hate too, so they must be buddies.
Cross paths in that world.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, all right, so getting back into the swing of things that we prefer about this album, of which there is a great many. How about your underrated track here? What's your underrated track?
Man, I could have picked so many.
Right?
This whole album just is full of banger tracks for me. And for me, I guess the underrated, would have to be Leave Mine to Me. Just for that breakdown.
Yeah. The song it's a badass song. It's kind of an older feeling one.
Yes.
Which is, the album needs that kind of stuff on here. It's one of the strongest songs on the album, I think.
It's got kind of suffer vibes for me.
I could feel that. Yeah. Again, like that darkness that they're able to infuse into most of their work in a way that doesn't crowd it, doesn't make it sticky or funky or like too much or gothy. It's just like, there's just always this like underlying like minor key feel that really works.
Yeah, and the bridge to Leave Mine to Me, that breakdown where he's just The other ways we're taught
Yeah.
to fear don't even scratch the surface of the problem here. That's one of my favorite bad religion moments of all time.
That's awesome. And also, I love a song that you can tell it got its name just because, like, that's just what ended up being repeated in the song. You know what I mean? Like, leave what to me? Like, who can, like, you gotta listen to the lyrics. There's a whole message being made here about, I don't know, about like, what exactly is the message of this song? Ideologies? Am I right?
I'm looking at the lyrics right now, and it's kind of vague.
Well, whatever the fuck it's about, it's a great song. Yeah, I'm glad you chose it. Like you, I did the same thing where I considered many songs on this album to be my underrated pick, and I definitely looked at Leave Mine to Me because it's one of those songs that when I was a kid, I just kind of like blew past it. And like, yeah, it's the second. That happens sometimes with the second song. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you got a ripper like incomplete before it, you could just kind of glaze past it. But it's a really good song. Leave Mine to Me. Great choice.
The first, like, I'd say 7 songs are just like one after another, just bam, 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 bam. That's a great first half of an album right there.
Yeah, there's no slump in that first half of the cassette. Yeah, there's a lot of really strong, memorable songs here. The kind of songs you want to hear them play live, you know.
The other one I was debating with was Better Off Dead because that just the lyrical themes of that is I love that song.
Yeah, another one that I considered too, and it's one that like I don't really know people to talk about it or sing it, you know what I mean? But when I think of this album, or I think of songs by Bad Religion, even though this is an album that I've spent among the least amount of time with out of all the albums of theirs that I got into it back in '94. Don't get me wrong, but like I kind of tuned out by around the time No Substance came out. But this is a song that I think of when I hear someone say Bad Religion. Like, I may not think the words, oh, Better Off Dead, but like the chorus will come to my mind. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Smiling lips and the hole in the head. That's a beautiful one.
It reminds me of my brother. He's the one that got me into Bad Religion, and their sardonic kind of attitude about, just giving the long finger to all things authoritative. It makes me think of my brother, and that line in particular, not that he's got a hole in his head, but I mean, just that kind of like, fuck you kind of, that kind of attitude. I don't know. It's punk rock. That's what it is. For my underrated, I picked another slow song on this album. Maybe the slowest song on the album. I went with Slumber.
So you're feeling unimportant 'cause you've got nothing to say, and your life is just a ramble. No one understands you anyway. Well, I've got a piece of news, son, that might make you change your mind. Your life is historically meaningful and spans a significant time. Summer will come soon, and you are helping put it to sleep. Side by side we do our share, faithfully assuring that summer will come soon.
I think that Slumber is kind of a throwback a little bit to that kind of experimentation I was referring to earlier, where you can tell that they're really playing with stuff here, playing with their style.
Oh, yeah.
In some ways, it's maybe one of the most ambitious songs on the album and the least like them, which I think it works.
I could hear it fit in on Generator.
Yeah, it would have fit in on Generator too, for sure. You're right. Would have fit in nicely there. But again, that darkness and that, I don't know, it's a kind of song that makes me feel like I'm driving at night somewhere and just kind of rocking out by myself and just having like a contemplative, kind of heavy moment by myself in my car with Bad Religion.
Again, another huge chorus and one of the best on the album, too.
That's what it is, man. That chorus is triumphant. It's fucking cool. So, we've hit all of our main points, but we got to talk about 21st Century Digital Boy.
I can't believe it, the way you look sometimes, like a trampled flag on a city street. Oh yeah, and I don't want it. The things you're offering me, symbolized barcode, quick ID. Oh yeah.
It's funny that this song made its way back onto this album. That's not the kind of thing that they did or do, right? Like to resurrect songs like this. I wonder what caused that.
They completely re-recorded it too. It's a different version.
Yeah. You know what? I got a theory. And it goes back to what you stated at the start of the show, which is that this was their major label debut. They had a pretty big single with American Jesus, and they probably wanted to like have a song on here that they could use as a single, and maybe they didn't feel like any of these was going to work, which is funny when you got songs like Stranger Than Fiction and Infected on your album to think that
you didn't need that.
Right?
Someone at Atlantic Records probably was going through their old discography. Was like, oh yeah, that's a great song. Put that on there again. You know, it doesn't seem like a Bad Religion move. You know what I mean?
It doesn't. I know Mr. Brett has said that in the past, that it was the execs that kind of leaned on them and got them to do it. But as I understand it, what's the bass player's name?
Jay Bentley.
Yes, thank you. As I understand it, Jay Bentley has also come out and said something along the lines of, yeah, Mr. Brett wanted us to do it again. Like, for some reason, like, I guess he pushed for it.
I mean, it's a great song. It's one of my favorite Bad Religion songs. Like, I don't care if it was a single. I love it.
And I actually prefer this version to the Against the Grain version, even though Against the Grain is one of my favorite albums of theirs. As an album, I prefer Against the Grain, but as a song, I think I prefer this version of 21st Century Digital.
Greg Graffin has some slight different inflections on some of the lines that I think will work better.
And what's funny is that, like, you know, that song was written in 1989 or 90 or so, then re-recorded for 94, but it's still relevant, I think, lyrically.
The chorus holds up perfectly to this day.
Yeah, in every way, the song holds up really well in terms of what the song itself is, in terms of the songwriting, and then also the critique, the societal critique being made about consumerism and our addiction to, you know, well, to the digital realm. Very poignant. All right. Have you seen him live?
Yes, I have seen.
Good.
I was trying to tally up how many times, and I think I got to about 6. I've seen him 6 times, I believe.
Wow. When was the most recent one?
Most recent was May of 2024. I saw them at the Masonic with our mutual friend Ian Anderson.
Hey, Ian. Awesome.
And it was a split bill with Social Distortion.
Yeah, I really considered going to that show, and for the life of me, I can't remember why I decided not to. I think I was still teaching. It would have been still in school, so maybe it was one of those things. I often don't want to, like, go to a show on a school night because it's kind of hard to get up at 5:30 the next morning. So I think that's probably why I didn't go. I bet it was awesome, though.
Yes, it was amazing. They played actually 3 songs off Stranger Than Fiction.
What'd they play?
Infected, Stranger Than Fiction, the song, and they played 21st Century Digital Boy.
You know, if I had to pick 3 songs from the album to hear them play live, those might be the 3. We didn't talk Tiny Voices, did we? That song's also really fucking great.
This album's just so full of
it's hard. This is one of the things I love and hate about the way I've set up my show. You know, kind of like making you have to prioritize and rank and stuff that's kind of impossible to do, because you ask me tomorrow, I might say Tiny Voices is the most underrated song on this album.
Bad Religion is one of my favorite live acts, and that's why I've tried to make it a point to see them pretty much every time they come to Detroit. The first time I saw them was at Clutch Cargo's in Pontiac, Michigan. The church turned venue turned church again.
Yeah, it's a church again.
I saw them at a Warp Tour 2002 at the Comerica parking lot.
I saw that. Was that Comerica? I thought that was Phoenix Plaza Amphitheater.
The 2002 was the first Warp Tour they had at the Comerica parking lot.
Well, maybe I wasn't at that one then.
I remember because I was at the Warp Tour 2002 and Bad Religion was about to play, and everyone was walking the other way. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Bad Religion's about to play. Where are you going?
You're at Warp Tour. Where the fuck are you going?
And it was Good Charlotte playing on the other stage that everyone was rushing to go see. And I was like, what is wrong with these people? No disrespect to any Good Charlotte fans.
I'm going to go ahead and disrespect Good Charlotte fans. I'm going to come out on that side of things. All right. Anything else you want to say about Bad Religion or this album?
No, I mean, just They're an incredible punk rock band, and what Metallica is to metal, Bad Religion is to punk rock for me. Like, Bad Religion kind of kicked open the door for punk rock for me from everything, from Pennywise, No Effects, Strung Out, Lagwagon, and then I got into like the older stuff, Black Flag, Misfits. Like, if it wasn't for Bad Religion, I wouldn't be listening to anything like that.
It's awesome. I mean, I think I've talked about it on the show before. On the Mount Rushmore of punk bands, Bad Religion, they're the George Washington. I think they're up there. Either them or No Effects. To me, those are the two most important. And Lagwagon. I don't even know if I need a fourth act. I could just have three bands up there, and I'll be happy with those three bands. I think they're the most important punk bands, in my opinion. So I'm always happy to talk about Bad Religion with anybody, especially with you on the show today. Thank you.
Thank you. The big four of metal I got, my big four of punk rock are Bad Religion, Pennywise, No Effects, and Strung Out.
I think, yeah, Strung Out, I guess I can make them my fourth. That works for me. I like Strung Out. I can't think of another more impactful punk rock band more than them. Maybe Social Distortion. At any rate, Bad Religion, we both agree, are about as premier of a punk band as it gets.
And they caused me to go to my first music festivals. My first music festivals were 3 consecutive Warped Tours, 2000, 2001, and 2002.
Nice.
And I saw so many bands there. Like, I saw No Effects, I saw Pennywise, I saw Green Day in a parking lot in Pontiac. You know what I mean? Like,
I do.
You can't do that anymore.
No, they don't play that much anymore.
But yeah,
if they do, you gotta like fly to Vegas just to see them.
I would not be into punk rock without Bad Religion, and
I don't know that I would either. Honestly, because they got my brother into punk rock. My brother got me into punk rock. I mean, I got into some punk stuff on my own, but yeah, Bad Religion, they really are the gateway drug.
Godfathers.
They're the gateway drug, or the Godfathers. I like that too. They're they introduce you. They bring you in.
Just ignore Into the Unknown.
And No Substance, which truly has no substance. Oh, and then there was a Christmas album, which I'm sorry, I've never listened to it.
Oh
but
my
like,
God,
what the
I forgot
fuck
about
why
that.
does this fucking exist? You're Bad Religion. Why are you singing about Jesus? I don't know. I'm sure
that
there's
was-
a tongue-in-cheek thing going on that I haven't given him a chance to listen to it. But
Yeah, that was a cringe moment. Maybe it's over my head. I don't get it, but whatever.
yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Like maybe I just don't get it. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Automatons with business suits, swinging black boxes, sequestering the blueprints of daily life. Contented, free of care, they rejoice in morning ritual as they file like drone and colonies to their office in the sky.
Do you have an MVP? Do you still do MVP?
I can. Who's your MVP for this album?
Jay Bentley.
Okay.
The bass lines in this album are incredible. They're pronounced too. You can hear him. He's all over that fretboard. I think he's amazing. And it's hard to not list Greg Graffin as an MVP for a Bad Religion album, but I think Jay Bentley I think he shines a lot on this album.
It might have something to do with the production too, because I feel like you can hear him pretty damn well on this album in ways that you can't necessarily on some of the earlier stuff.
Yeah, they might probably have a little bit more money for the production value on this album, which was actually produced by Andy Wallace, who I knew from the metal world.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I didn't realize that. He's a big name in production.
He produced some of my favorite. Well, he was Rick Rubin's right-hand man for a long time, so he did the lion's share of the work on like a lot of the Slayer albums and Sepultura albums that I grew up listening to.
Yeah, he's a undersung producer from the era.
He was very active too in 93, 94. He did this album. He mixed Nevermind.
Yeah, he did. I was just talking about that on the Nevermind episode, actually.
And he worked with Helmet and the Toadies and Fishbone and Faith No More. He was all over the place.
Yeah, he did Angel Dust, I believe. All right, man. So I always wrap things up with some other question kind of unrelated to what we were talking about. And you sort of brought us into the topic of conversation I wanted to have with you today, which is the Billboard Top 100, or at least the Billboard Music organization. I don't know what you call it. Billboard. I'm going to play a little trivia game with you. I'm looking at the top 10 songs, according to Billboard, from the week of September 6th, 1994, which was when this album came out. you'll notice that no song I'm going to ask you about is by Bad Religion because they did not have any top 10 singles that week. I'm sorry to say. I'm going to give you the song from 10 to 1. You give me the artist if you can.
Oh boy. Okay.
Think you can do it?
Yes.
I think you can do it. I think that you can get a passing grade here, 60% or more, because that's what I think I could get. I think I would probably get about 4 of these wrong. Let's see how you do. Song number 10, Don't Turn Around.
Ace of Base. Ace of Base.
Ace of Base. This DJ, I have no idea. I would not know this.
I have no idea.
Warren G. I never could have answered that one.
Oh.
Do you remember that song? I don't.
No, I know Warren G though, but yeah, I don't know that song.
I Swear. By the moon and the stars in the sky.
Fuck. I know the song. I don't know
you
who
do.
sings it. Boys to Bed?
Good guess. All for one. Number 4, then 1 spelled out. All for one.
Oh.
All right, number 7. Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Elton John.
Elton, that's right.
Lion King soundtrack.
I'm going to sing these to you as much as possible, I guess, apparently. Fantastic Voyage. Slide, slide, slippity slide.
Coolio.
Coolio. That's right. Some of these are going to get awkward a little bit. Stroke You Up.
Oh, boy.
This is one I would have gotten wrong.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Changing Faces. I never would have gotten it.
Don't even know who it is.
Next one's tough, too. Number 4, When Can I See You? When can I see you again? It's a big R&B song.
Belle Biv DeVoe.
It's a great guess. Babyface.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Number 3. We're getting through them quickly. Wild Night.
That's John Mellencamp.
That's right. John Mellencamp with Michelle and Degalucello.
I remember the video from MTV. That was a great song.
Yeah, it was a pretty good song. I think it's a Van Morrison cover. I remember that video. It was just like the two of them, like in black and white. I feel like
just jamming out, having a great
jamming
time.
Out. It was a big
white
single.
T-shirts.
That's right. Stay. I Missed You.
Boys to Men.
Great guess. Lisa Loeb and the 9 Stories. You say you only have what I want to.
Now, if you would have sung it, I would have got it.
I was going to, but you just jumped on Boys to Men right away. All right. I don't know if I'm going to sing this one to you. Yeah, I probably will. All right, I'm going to sing it to you. I'll make love to you if you want me to. I don't actually know the words to this song.
It's got to be my boys. Boys to Men.
Finally, it is your boys, the Boys to Men. You nailed it. Good. You got all the ones that I thought you would, and the ones you got wrong were the same ones I think I would have gotten wrong, other than maybe I may have gotten all for one. Excellent. You passed. Congratulations on your Billboard quiz. You did it.
I would have got Lisa Loeb. I would have heard your sweet voice. I jumped the gun too quick.
Well, if we play it again, I'll start singing immediately next time.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was. Thanks for doing this, man. It's always good getting to do these with you. I enjoy it very much.
Yes, thank you for doing this, and thank you for doing all your other podcasts. Shout out Cinema 9.
Thank you. Awesome, man. Well, we'll have you back, and maybe a metal album next time. We'll see. Doesn't have to be.
I mean, I can make my announcement right now and set it in stone if you'd like.
Do you already know what it is?
Yes.
Tell the world. Let's hear it.
For my next visit, I will be talking about the 1993 release by the Brazilian thrash metal legends Sepultura and their album Chaos AD.
I was hoping you were going to pick Sepultura. All right, cool. You heard it here first, folks. If you want to come on the show and talk Sepultura, you cannot. Brandon has claimed it.
Yes, I will talk to you all then.
Cool. We'll see you then, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I'm unrespectable, never sensible, maybe incredible, so damn irascible. I like all things I do, so hooray for me.
Again, I'd like to thank Brandon for coming back on the show and talking about this really important album. It is much appreciated. And I actually got to see him in person recently, which was cool because his setup is such a way that when we record, I can't see him. We just talk to each other. And I haven't seen him in person in a long time, but I saw him this weekend. My buddy John has a really great band called Bear vs. Shark. With them, you should check them out. They are outstanding. They just got back from a little tour around England and are prepping to do their 20th anniversary tour for the album Terror Hawk, their second album. And they did a little tiny band practice kind of show in Hamtramck a couple weeks ago or a week ago, and it was really great. And I saw Brandon there. We went and saw Bear vs. Shark play. And it was like us and 30 other people, 50 other people. It was great. It was really cool to see this awesome band at such a small venue. It had been many years since I've seen him without a ton of people freaking out in the crowd with us. So it was cool to see him just just a handful of us. If you're not familiar with Bear vs. Shark, you're currently listening to the song 5-6 Kids from Terror Hawk. Plug albums to try and get people to come on the show and do albums from 93 and 94, but Terror Hawk from 2005 is an album you should know, and Bear vs. Shark is a band you should know if you're not familiar. They're fucking great, so keep an eye out for that tour. They are selling tickets currently, and I think that's about it. If you want to come on the show yourself, listener, and talk about an album that came out from 1993 or 1994, or if you just want to email me to say hello or give me feedback, you can email me at 9394podcast@gmail.com. If you want to hear more of me talk about other things, I've got a couple other podcasts. I have one called Small Screen Sessions where I talk about TV shows with a couple friends of mine. And I have another that I've been doing for goddamn 5 years now, Cinema 9, where I talk about movies with another couple good friends. So do check those out. Do rate and review the show, please. It is much appreciated when y'all do that. And yeah, I will stop talking now. Thank you. Goodbye. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. 9394, a music podcast with Travis Roy, is a labor of love. It is not and never will be monetized. Please don't sue.